Self-harm. As a society, we're trained that when we hear this word, most people think cutter, emo, depressed, suicidal. But in reality, self-harm doesn't stick to a stereotype, and cutting isn't the only way to self-harm. Self-harm is defined as the intentional, direct injuring of body tissue without suicidal intentions. It includes skin cutting, which is the most common, burning, scratching, interfering with the healing of wounds, hair pulling, hitting or banging body parts, in the ingestion of toxic substances or objects, and honestly the list goes on and on. The fact that we have limited self-harm to a select group of people that do it is honestly awful, in my opinion. It makes the people that are out of that group that do it feel like they shouldn't get help for it. They feel like because they don't fall into that set of people, no one will believe them. Something along those lines. Self-harm actually accounts for 40 to 60% of suicides. A lot of people self-harm because it's a coping mechanism. They're under a lot of stress. They can't handle what's going on in their current situation, and they just need a way to release all of the negative or overpowering feelings. Some people say that they self-harm because of mental illnesses. There's a lot of psychological factors, genetics, drugs and alcohol. It's just a lot of things that could honestly cause someone to go into this. Since 80% of self-harm involves stabbing or cutting your skin, a lot of the areas will actually show marking from this. One of the most common areas are the wrists, Signs could go from unexplained cuts to, making a lot of excuses for injuries, oh, my cat scratched me type things. The thing with cutting is, though, that the person that cuts has to decide for themselves to stop. You cannot make a cutter not cut. You can't make someone that burns themselves stop burning themselves. They have to decide on their own. You can make them see the reason in what they're doing and tell them that hurting themselves isn't healthy for them and that they need to find something else to do, but if they don't believe that, they're not going to listen to you. So I guess it's going to be kind of like story time now. I have a friend. His name's Nick. His thing was burning. He burned for 11 months, I think, and he's been clean for about a year now. He said that the only reason he stopped doing it to himself was because his girlfriend saw him, and the look on her face was more painful than any burn that he'd ever done. And honestly, I think that that's pretty amazing that he could kind of cut cold turkey like that, because me, on the other hand, I was a cutter, and I cut for 3 months, I think, around there. I haven't been clean nearly as long, but, yeah. I guess what made me stop was actually listening to the people around me. I kind of saw what I was doing to everyone. My friends that had found out about it were totally just torn up about it, and I think kind of the turning point to making me actually realize I needed to stop was my best friend crying her eyes out when she found out, and that kind of made me figure, this is really serious. It's not just something that I do, it's something that's a part of me now, and I'm not going to get rid of it. I guess, advice to people that are honestly considering doing this is don't. Because you might think that, it's going to be this time. you're not going to do it again, but you will. And you fall into a pattern, and your life gets separated into kind of two categories. Your life before cutting, your life during hurting yourself, and hopefully your life after. And I know that this may sound really cheesy, but it does get better. You get stronger, and it gets easier as you go along. But you do have to take that step. And you have to say that you're not going to do it anymore. You have to take that step and say that you're better than this. You have to take that step and say that you're a beautiful person and that no one else can convince you otherwise. You have to tell yourself that you're the most amazing person in the world, and even if you don't believe it, you start to mean it. And that feeling of accomplishment when you throw away your lighter, or you toss your razor blade away, or you can finally start keeping your nails on without worrying about purposely scratching yourself. It's a good feeling. You feel accomplished, and you feel a lot better. So my advice to anyone that's in it right now is to get help. You might think that you can do it on your own, but it's harder than it looks. And as hard as it might be to come out and tell someone what you're doing, it's worth it. They'll help you. They'll be there for you. When I say get help, I don't mean necessarily to go to a therapist. If that's what you need to do, then do it. But just have a support system. Have the people around you that love you so very much there to help you through this very difficult time. And that's really all I can say. Now, there are definitely times in my life where I do want to still, those urges don't really go away. And there are times when I'll look at certain things and kind of remember what I've done. But then I also remember that that's not who I am. That I'm someone a lot stronger now because of what I've gone through. And honestly, I'm glad. If I could go back, would I have started? No. Because I wouldn't be where I was right now. But then there are times that I think, maybe it was for the better. That it was just kind of something that had to be done. And I kind of wanted to share something about these bracelets, I guess. A lot of you may have heard of the organization To Write Love on Her Arms. This pink one says To Write Love on Her Arms, this white one says Love is the Movement. And To Write Love in Your Arms, honestly, to me, is just to show people that they're not alone in the struggle that they're going through. That no matter how small you think your problem is, it's worth talking to someone about it. It's not as unimportant as you may feel it is. So I don't really wear these bracelets because they're trendy. I wear these bracelets because they remind me of who I am. They remind me of where I've been. And honestly, I guess they remind me that I have the people that I love always around me. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. All I have to say is kind of watch what you say, I guess. If you are someone that self-harms, don't be ashamed about it. Come out to it, or come out with it. It's easier than it seems, but it's gonna be a rocky road. So stay strong. To people that know someone who self-harms, talk to them. Try to get them to see reason. Let them know that they're not alone. I honestly think that that's it. So just remember that if anybody needs anyone to talk to, you can email me on my channel, or if my email is actually up there, you can email me on that. If you actually know me, you can actually talk to me or text me or anything like that. So I guess that's all I have to say. Stay strong.